Welcome back, gamers. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and you're listening to the Chill Spot Podcast. Sammy Cam in the morning.
Sammy Cam in the morning.
And like a toilet flush, like in the morning. You know what's funny about those like radio buzz noises and shit?
Yeah.
I've never actually heard any of them on a real radio show. I've only ever heard them on like parodies of radio shows.
They do get like exaggerated, but they'll take like a clip of a song or like a catchphrase that someone said and like play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something, I don't know, some like fucking like Hitler quote or something, and it's like, who loaded this on the board?
Just a casual Hitler quote,
what the fuck?
Just a little bit of light white supremacy in the morning.
Exactly.
Just a little bit of anti-Semitism to start your day off, right?
Yeah, it's like that.
The best part of waking up is genocide in your cup.
It's like that. I want to say that like congressperson or that American like government official who like got out in front of a bunch of people and said like Hitler was wrong but didn't have all bad ideas. It's like, Jesus, what the fuck?
Actually,
don't say it. Don't say what you're about.
The dumbest thing.
Okay, I was about to say.
I've ever heard in my life.
I straight up thought you were gonna be like, well, some of his politics were like, okay, but the other half of his politics was genocide.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up about it. Shut up. If it were any good, it would have lasted. Is what, like, you know what I mean?
I mean, he did almost take over the earth.
Actually, you know what? White supremacy is still very much around. So
yeah.
Eugenics still happening.
Sam, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a relationship or a friendship where something? Okay, now this is I'm referring mostly to like your teenage years.
Okay.
Have you ever had like an argument or a disagreement with a friend or a romantic partner that was solely based on just like straight up immaturity?
Probably.
Like, can I give you an example?
Yeah, I would like one.
An ex-girlfriend of mine, in the 9th grade.
Okay.
What a fun year the 9th grade was.
Throwback.
We were best friends for a long time, and then like we got together and it didn't work out. Because we were in the 9th grade.
Yeah.
She's a perfectly
what went wrong?
She's a nice, perfectly adjusted person.
Who changed?
All of us entirely, actually. But one day, I swear to God, I was walking from like French class to math class, and then after school, she hit me up and was just like, "I saw you in the hall today, and you didn't say hi to me." And I was like,
okay.
What are you talking about? I literally haven't seen you all day. And then she doubled down and would be like, no, you looked me in the eyes. You saw me. You're lying. And I was like, I didn't see you all day.
Yeah.
If I had seen you, I would have said hi to you. Because obviously.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you looked at me. And like, I was straight up like, what the fuck?
What is happening?
Thinking about that now is clearly just like a set of, you know, maybe a little bit of anxiety, maybe a little that, a little bit of immaturity.
I don't think it's anxiety. I think it is just straight up like immaturity and not knowing what a relationship is.
And not knowing that like it's okay to receive information like, what are you talking about? I literally haven't seen you. Like I'm not lying to you when I say that I haven't seen you all day.
Yeah.
And then, but confrontation skills and confrontation de-escalation is something that like you really don't learn until much later in life.
Yeah. Okay. Now that you tell, I have two stories actually that are like that. One was a friendship and one was a relationship.
Are they fun?
Yes, Cameron.
Okay.
Fun.
Just wanted to make sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I ever bring down the tone of the podcast? When have I ever been a downer?
What are your stories?
So in grade 6, I was friends with this girl named Esther, and we were out on the playground at recess, and like recess had just started, and you know, like you have your friends, and you're not always necessarily in the same class. So you don't see each other like throughout the day. The only time you see each other is at recess.
Sure.
So we go out for recess, and I'm out, and I hug all of my friends, hello, that I'm not in class with, that I haven't seen in, you know, like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And
eternity from when you're that age.
Oh, it's so long.
Yeah.
And I hugged my friends, and I didn't, like, Esther must have been, like, standing, like, off to the side or something, but, like, I didn't see her. I genuinely didn't see her, and I hugged all of my friends. I was like, hey, everybody! And she was like, you forgot me. And I was like, oh, shoot, I'm so sorry. Oh, my God, Esther, come here. And she was like, no. What
the fuck?
You didn't say hi to me.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I'm sorry. And she stormed off. It went from like 0 to 100 and she stormed away. And she was like,
fuck?
no. And I ran after her because like I thought she was kidding because it was like so ridiculous.
You're like, oh, come here.
Oh my God, no, don't run, Esther. No, come back. I want to hug you.
She like punched you in the kidney.
And she was like, no, don't hug me. Get away from me. And I was like, what? And she was like, you forgot about me.
What?
And I was like, I'm sorry. No, like, Esther, I want to hug you. Like, give me a hug.
Yeah.
Like, come here. And she was like, no, we're not friends anymore. And she ignored me for the rest of recess and didn't talk to me. And then I messaged her on MSN after school that day. And I was like, are you mad at me? And she was like, you don't ignore your friends like that. Real friends don't forget about each other and just like, ignore them straight up like that. And I was like, Esther, I am sorry. I genuinely did not see you. Like, I really wasn't ignoring you. I promise. And she was like, real friends wouldn't do that. Real friends wouldn't ignore you. And real friends always see you. And I was like, Esther.
Real friends always see you.
Yeah.
No. You can't not see me, bitch.
Yeah. Like, once we become friends, I should be like sparkly, like glitter highlighted in your point of view.
Like thermal vision.
Yeah, like thermal vision all the time. How dare you miss me? And I was like, she was like, we're not friends anymore.
No way.
And she blocked me on MSN. What? Wouldn't talk to me, and we stopped being friends.
That was it?
Yeah.
You never recovered?
We never spoke again.
To this day.
To this day, Cameron. Actually, we're friends on Facebook now. But
you should hit her up.
I know.
You should hit her up right now.
Cameron, I am scared to talk to her.
You should.
Because we genuinely didn't talk. She changed schools. We didn't go to the same middle school.
Jesus
and we
Christ.
didn't go to the same high school. And it was grade 6. So that was the end of elementary school. And we never spoke again.
You destroyed her world.
I know.
This person might be the largest emotional effect that you've had on anybody in your entire life.
To this day, I am still confused. Like, so confused. Because, like, I don't know what I did.
she was
like,
obviously...
Was she genuinely mad at me because I didn't, like, I just missed her? Like, she was just in my peripheral vision and I missed her and, like, we were friends. So she should never be in my peripheral vision.
I always need to be the center of your vision.
Yeah.
Never look away.
Yeah.
I never look away from you. You know what that is? Like, and it's so frustrating, right? Because like immaturity, because you yourself at that level are also not mature. So dealing with immaturity, you have like no idea how to even circumvent that.
Yeah.
So when she's just like spitting all this, like she's just repeating herself, right?
Yeah.
You just want to punch her in the face.
It was one of those times where I was like so confused and felt so misunderstood that it was like maddening.
Yes.
Like, remember I told that story in the Great Snowball War like earlier on in the podcast about how everybody thought that I pushed this kid over into the ice and he hurt himself, and it was such a he said she said situation where like everybody just thought that I pushed him, but I didn't push him. And this girl Esther was like, you ignored me. And I was like, I didn't ignore you. I really did. Esther, like, I don't know like how much more honest I can be. Look me in the eyes. And I'm telling you now, I didn't ignore you.
She, in her mind, took your actions as pointed.
Yeah.
When you were like, it literally could not have been more of an accident.
Yeah.
Like,
and there was no time.
No discussion.
No, there was no, what's it called? There was no premeditated event where like where I gave off the impression that I wanted to ignore her or was going to ignore her. Like, we had been bosom buddies, like up until that point. Like good friends. I really liked this girl. Like I thought she was super cool.
You remember her name and everything, yeah.
We went to Binghamton's on a school trip and she like won the jackpot on an arcade game and she like bought me a plushie with all of her like masses and masses of tickets that she won. Like I thought we were toyed.
Right.
And
Yeah,
in the blink of an eye, she was
Yeah.
like, you didn't give me a hug right away, so we're not friends anymore. And like stuck to it.
There was no moment where she like, hey, Esther, can I have a pen? She gave you a pen and it was out of ink and you were like, that cunt.
Yeah.
I'm not hugging her at recess today.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck happened? To
I
this
can't
day,
believe
I'm
to this
still
day.
gobsmacked.
You should message her right now. Like, seriously, where's your phone?
It's like it's right here. It's
Shoot her a
right
message.
here. Are we still friends on Facebook? Did she unfriend me?
Did she unfriend you?
I get worried. Yeah, we're still friends.
Shoot her a message.
No.
Be like, hey, Esther, can I do it?
I'm scared, Cameron. I'm scared.
I want to do it.
don't
Let me do
want
it.
to.
Let me do it.
Oh no, somebody in her family died recently.
Hey, Esther, just want to reach out condolences.
Hey,
By the way. you know, like
you have no idea though, Cam. Like, I do kind of want closure.
Because I do know you.
I'm so confused. I've been confused for years.
On some level, with the detail and the emotion that you told that story, I could tell on some small level that affects you still.
Yeah.
Like to this day, or you're just like, why is she? We're just not friends. She could have been one of my best friends. I lost a bridesmaid that day.
She genuinely, like, she got married. She had a baby now, and I think
she's a baby.
Yeah.
I hope she's hugging that baby.
I think she's pregnant with her second baby because in this picture with her relative who just passed away, she's cradling her stomach.
Oh my goodness.
I think she's pregnant again.
Good for her.
Genuinely good for her. Glad that she's happy. She seems very happy. And you know what? She posts like social justice posts. Like I'm scrolling through her Facebook right now. And there's a social justice post on here about like indigenous like fishermen, you know, like
the Mi'kmaq?
the Mi'kmaq fishermen who were getting attacked like late last year. And I've seen like Black Lives Matter stuff on her wall. So like,
so you definitely would get along.
we would have like grown up and like gone through some shit, and she would have been by my side the whole time because she's like woke now. And
what could have been, man? You could have been an auntie to her children.
Yeah, and she's out of my life because I forgot to hug her one day.
Well, I hope
fucked up about it.
I hope that everyone in her life is in the center of her vision, and then never ever puts her in their peripherals because you know the effects of not looking your friend directly.
Oh yeah, I'm like a weathered veteran who like understands what it's like to go through hell.
The Esther experience. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm actually I want to hear your other story, but I thought of one as well. Mm-hmm. Where I remember one time, this is like the 5th or 6th grade. Like this is like real young. And this goes to show the effect that Mean Girls can have. Uh-huh. So I was in class.
The movie or just Mean Girls?
No, Mean Girls.
Okay.
I went to school with a lot of mean girls.
Okay.
No names, of course. Mm-hmm. But I remember I was in class and we had done these art projects, like, and you know what, when you're in elementary school, you do an art project and it gets hung out in the hall. Yeah. To like show it off, right?
Of course.
I had my good buddies Daniel and Chris at the time, who were like walking in the hallway. I guess they just decided to like fucking leave class or something.
As you do.
As they do.
Yeah.
And our classroom door was open. So we can hear them like mildly talking about stuff, like being like, oh yeah, that was good. And then I heard them saying, like, this is how this went, right? I heard them over say, oh, and this one's Cam's. And then like silence. And I swear to God, this mean girl turns around to me and goes, they're making fun of you.
Oh.
They're making fun of your art.
Oh.
And like, I just like internalized that immediately.
Yeah.
Because like, why would she lie to me, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. What? And then like, I got all of my fifis, but like kept it under wraps. And then at recess, I was like, were you guys making fun of my art? And they were like, no. They're like, we were literally, because what happened was that they said, and this one's Cam's, and then it got like whisper toned.
Yeah.
And then literally what they said to me was like, we were walking down and Chris was going like, this one's Andrew's and this one's Mike's. Oh, and this one's Cameron's. Yeah, it's good. Like literally just like that. Yeah. And they're like, it
was like so like not,
so innocuous.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. But then like later when I got back to class, like that same girl that was like trying to get that narrative going again was just like on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I talked to them and it's fine. And they're like, are you sure? And I was like, yes.
Wow.
And she was like, okay.
What a bitch.
I know.
I remember those kids though. I remember those kids who just like blew everything to epic proportions.
Because they're shit kids?
Because they're shit kids.
Who grew up into shit people?
I mean, like, sometimes they do grow into shit people. Sometimes they grow out of it. But sometimes they grow into shit people.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they love to take things out of context. And they love to, like, jump the shark and go from, like, and they don't do what you do. And some people don't do what you do. They don't go up to their friends and ask them straight up, were you making fun of my art?
Yeah.
They just, like, sit in that anxiety and just let it, like, worry and live
fester
in, like, this
forever.
and live in this limbo where, like, they don't really know if their friend was making fun of them or not. And it's like, oh, it sucks.
It's a tough balance.
Like that. I hate kids like that.
What was your other story? Your relationship one?
So my first, like, and only actually, like, stupid puppy love middle school relationship was with this kid named Levi, who to this day only dated me because we were both tall.
From Attack on Titan.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was dating this anime character, and he wasn't real.
Amazing.
And we broke up because
he had to go kill Titans.
Yeah. No, his name was Levi, and we dated for 4 months because I just didn't have the balls to end it. So he would come by my locker every morning, say hi, give me a hug, and then walk away because we didn't have any classes together and we didn't see each other for the rest of the day.
And you didn't think, like, to, like, hang out after school or, like, even do couple stuff, like sit at the same table at lunch even?
No. Well, I was scared, and I thought that I wanted... Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I was friends with so many pretty girls who, like, got male attention all the time that I wanted it just because my friends had it.
That's fair.
I actually wasn't ready for it.
I went through similar things, yeah.
So when Levi came along, I was like, oh, shit. Like, this is really scary, and I feel like I'm in over my head, and I'm really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So, like, he would come to my locker in the morning, say hi, give me a hug, and then he would come to my locker at the end of the day, say bye, give me a hug. And that was our relationship for 4 months.
Right.
And I started getting more overwhelmed and more scared as it kind of, like, dragged on. And I just started, like, avoiding him and talking to him less and less and less and just, like, giving him the cold shoulder, just bare ignoring this poor boy.
Amazing.
And one day, our mutual friend Josh, who I'm actually still friends with and is a really cool guy, came up to me. I was getting something from my locker. It was, like, in the middle of class. And Josh and Levi were both in the hall. And I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. It was like a Western.
Like, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. I was like, who's going to go down this hallway?
A kid rolls by like a tumbleweed, like, oh,
yeah.
Ow.
And Josh walks up to me and he's like, yo, are you and Levi still dating? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, Levi just dumped your ass.
Oh, fuck!
And they both, like, and Levi, like, looked at me and, like, walked away. And that was the end of my one and only middle school relationship.
You got dunked on.
Yeah, I did.
So Levi was like, hey, man, because I also love how, like, he didn't do it.
No.
That's the most high school, or, like, would you say middle school?
Middle school.
Like, that's the most young person thing in the world.
Yeah.
Of the idea of just, like...
Well, all of the communication is through your friends.
Naturally,
you know?
yeah.
Like, there's one person, there's the boy, and then there's the girl. Very heteronormative, I understand. But there's one kid, there's kid A, and then there's kid B. And kid A likes kid B.
And there's supporting parties.
So then the supporting parties meet kind of like agents or like lawyers.
Exactly.
And just communicate through each other and then take the information back to their respective parties. And like the entire relationship is communicated through the friends.
Like an old-timey duel. They send in their seconds.
Fascinating.
And they're like,
and no one tells you to do it, and every single generation since the dawn of time has done it that way.
Exactly.
At that age. And I think it's the most hilarious thing.
It just comes from a lack of confidence in yourself, but an immense confidence in your friends.
It's that mom friend override where, like, your friend doesn't have the bravery at the time to do it, so you step in and do it for them.
Exactly.
Because you want that extra ketchup packet for them, and the extra ketchup packet is the relationship.
Party A and Party B meet up, and it's like,
yeah.
Okay, I'd like to discuss the terms. Cameron would like at least one hug and kiss a day, and maybe if we can make time for after school hangouts. It's, okay, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. But we can do that. But every slow song at every school dance Levi has to ask Sam to dance. She will not approach him. Every dance has to be premeditated by him.
And our boob touches on the table, and they said, "Well, I mean, on over the bra, under the shirt." And the other party goes, "Over the bra, under the, yeah, of course, over the
over the top, over the top,
yeah,
over
come
the
on,
top."
what are we, savages?
Must be discreet, and if we do get caught by an adult, the fault will be placed on the defendant.
Yeah.
Understood, yeah.
Thank
understood.
you. And they shake hands.
When one boob touch per dance.
And then they go back and they start dating, and neither party talks to each other, and the relationship's over. High school! It's the, people call it the best years of your life.
Little story about Jack and Diane.
On that same note, I was going to bring up something. Did it surprise you? Because like, I never had any of these experiences, but did it surprise you when you find out the sheer amount of like positive or negative is, you know, irrelevant, but like the sheer amount of sexual experiences that happen with certain people at school? I knew lots of people who had like express sexual experience. Like I knew this girl who got caught like sucking this dude's dick in like the stairwell.
There was a stairwell at my high school.
We actually had 4 at Gonzaga.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was one that actually led to the outside of the building where there was no cameras and didn't lead back, like literally. Okay, so if you can imagine, like from the top floor, it goes down into this long, we called it the annex, this like long hallway where there was another staircase which went down like this. You guys aren't going to see this, but it went down like this, bent to the right, down again, bent to the left, and then led to an exit door where there was no camera.
Wow.
And then up here on the annex, there was a staircase leading to the 3rd floor, and then a door leading to the 2nd floor. So that place down there, the annex, like kids would smoke weed down there, like idiots.
Yeah.
Kids would do sex stuff down there.
See, sex stuff I understand, but you're still smoking indoors.
Oh, because they're kids. They don't fucking get it.
But like, you're gonna, okay.
No, but you don't understand. Like, they're kids. They don't get it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's literally like you can try to explain this away as much as you can.
Some of the potheads in my school smoke pot in some pretty stupid places. I mean, they were all outside at least. But
thank God.
One was like right below a window to like a townhouse complex. It wasn't on the townhouse property, but it was outside behind some trees. And like the people who lived there could fucking smell the weed wafting up to their windows and obviously got pissed.
Obviously.
It was so annoying.
But
so stupid.
With the stuff happening at school, like, I actually knew my one of my first girlfriends ever in the 8th grade.
Oh my God.
I know, such a player I am. Was told me about how her last boyfriend, quote unquote.
Tested.
I'm full of diseases from the 8th grade. All the boobs I didn't touch. Would tell me stories about how her ex-boyfriend, who would like meet her up in like the stairwell at our elementary school, and like she had developed early and would just like ask to feel up her titties. And then like I could really imagine, because like at that point, like depending on who you are, like maybe she didn't fully understand what like sexual pleasure was like, or like would even be like understand what that felt like. So like this dude who's just like getting a fucking boner, feeling up her boobies, and then just went like
on his like 3rd boner of his life,
and just went like, all right, well, thanks. Like, shook hands. See you at the school. Like, you know?
Yes, that was pleasurable. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I appreciate that. Thank you for this exchange. That's the same girlfriend who broke up with me because her mom said that we could either date or she could play soccer.
Oh, baby girl.
That makes me laugh so hard. Because I remember at the time, I was like, I wouldn't say I was like devastated, but I was upset about it because, you know, we dated for like a week.
She chose soccer over you.
I know. I also think that in retrospect,
like, absolutely no shade to the sport of soccer. It's just like true, honest human connection, or a game you can play whenever you want to.
I know,
like,
right?
I would choose the person.
You let your mom dictate your life at the 8th grade?
Well, you've
everybody does.
True. You've also told me that it was a lie.
I also just think it was a lie, personally. I just think that she didn't know how to let me down easy, and that was blaming on her mom.
I mean,
was probably the easiest way out.
I would be honored to be a scapegoat for my kid to get out of any situation that makes them uncomfortable.
My mom always used to do that. Just blame me.
Yeah.
She say all the time. Just blame. Tell your friends, if you don't want to do something, tell your friends that I said you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because then you get to stay home now.
Yeah.
Like, just, you don't have to do the thing you have to do.
I actually read a really good story on Tumblr of all places, of this like this kid whose mom had an agreement with them
Mm-hmm.
where if they were at a sleepover and they were feeling uncomfortable and they wanted to come home for any reason, they would they had like a code word, like they would like call their mom under the guise of like, oh, I need to say goodnight to my mom. And then they would like call their mom and say something like, how is my goldfish doing?
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the code word to say like, get me out of here. And then the mom would say like, oh, Timmy needs to come home because XYZ. Like they would make like some parental reason why they had to come home.
Exactly.
And then it looked like the parent made them leave the sleepover and not, they just didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah. Save your kids
they
socially.
Didn't lose any clout. And I think that is the sweetest and best thing that a parent can do for their
100%.
kid. Like, give them that out.
Well, especially because, like, and I know that this is probably a little vapid to say out loud, but it's 100% true where as a kid, like elementary school, middle school for you, and then high school, like, your social life is all you have.
Yes.
It is your entire life.
Your world is so small.
And social status really can change from day to day.
Yeah.
And seriously have, like, massive effects on your happiness.
Yeah.
In retrospect, everyone, and I do mean like 100% of people, look back and go like, oh, that was dumb and laugh about it, right?
Yeah.
But like at the time, how you are to your friends is everything.
I mean, it really hasn't been that long, Cameron, since we moved past or like got to a point in our lives where we were like, yeah, like our friends could not talk to us for like a day and it's like not a big deal. That ended like 4 years ago for me.
Yeah.
That's not that long. You go a long time with your circle of friends being the most important and like the communication and closeness between you two being the most important thing to you in the world.
Totally.
Some people never get over it.
Never, yeah. I mean,
Ever.
Good for them because I can't do that.
No.
No.
I need people to understand that like I'm at a place right now where I'm just like not by my phone.
Yeah.
Trying to be talked to all the time.
All the time anyway, yeah.
I was answering like a DM from one of my closest friends. Like this person knows things about me that are so intimate, it borderlines on gross.
She knows all about your gross ass disease.
We talk in detail about like our periods and stuff like that. Like like she knows as much about my vagina as I do.
Right.
And
that's saying something.
Yeah. And I was like answering her and like I was in the middle of typing and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Stop talking to me. I just like needed to get away from my phone.
Totally.
And she gets it. And like, that's a best friend at this point in my life. A best friend is someone who knows that like, I'm just not going to fucking answer you.
It's also just not
for like
personal.
days at a time, and it's not personal.
The way I see it, like so many, and like my friends had this same realization that we're talking about right now, in my opinion, a little bit earlier than I did. Mm-hmm. And like the way I see it is that like if I get ignored or like R-bombed or like a text is short or whatever, like understand that this person literally never meant any harm ever. And like that goes, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So if I read your message and not respond or respond with something like sounds good, like yeah, it's cool, bro. I mean, but that is a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah.
Especially when you have some social anxieties and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's valid. I just think it's like so important to know that like there's a human with a life on the other end of the phone and like that life has things that come up sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And like it doesn't matter what kind of conversation you're having, although I still uphold to this day, if we're making plans and I'm telling you like what time should I be there and you leave me on red for 2 hours, I'm gonna get mad at you.
Right.
That's the only time.
Especially
really,
if the plans are that day.
Yeah.
Like it's okay, so if I hit you up a week before and I'm like, what's the sitch with this? And like you leave me on red for a couple hours and then text me back, like whatever. Like you got back to me before the thing.
Yeah.
If we're hanging out
that
tonight day, or even in like a couple of hours, you have to let me know.
Yeah.
I would let you know.
Yeah.
You know, like that to me is like above my social bar.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, like I have been having like deep conversations with people, with like family members sometimes. And they'll text me back and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I fell asleep. And I was like, girl, we were texting at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I figured you fell asleep.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to fall asleep. Yeah, it's all cute and everything to be like, oh, like I stayed up for you, but we're adults.
Yeah.
I know how important sleep is.
It's Sunday.
Just get back to me whenever.
Totally.
It's really okay.
Absolutely.
It's totally fine.
I have a response bar. If it's late enough, I'm probably not going to respond to you.
Yeah, like past like 9 p.m.
It gets fishy.
Past like 9 p.m., if we're still talking and it's getting late, like, cool, great, I'm honored, but you can drop off whenever, because I assume that you're tired or that you're winding down.
Mm-hmm.
You have shit to do. You have to get ready for the next day, and no worries, mate. It's all good.
It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
And you know what? Like, I'm a big proponent. Like, all of my friends, I feel this way with literally all my friends, are the kind of people where, like, we could pick up where we left off, even if it was months ago.
Yeah.
But that being said, and, like, this has been a big part of, like, social distancing, and, like, all of our relationships are digital now, whether we like it or not, has been, like, getting into texting more. Like, I actually had a friend of mine from high school shoot me a DM on Instagram the other day because we were playing Wind Waker on stream.
Okay.
And I did the picture of our setup. And he was like, "Whoa, is Wind Waker on Switch now? Is that how you're playing on TV?" And I was like, "No, actually." And I was like, "Oh, it's hooked up with my PC, blah blah blah, with Dolphin, yada yada." And he was like, "Oh, that's cool, man." And then, like, I did something I would never do, and, like, I'm not, like, praising myself for this, but I was like, how have you been? You know, like, because up until that point, I've always been the kind of person where it's like, well, if someone needs my attention, they'll ask. And, like, very rarely did I reciprocate that kind of, like, inquisitive energy. And it was never because I didn't want to know. It was always just because, like, well, yeah, I follow you on social media. Anything you want me to know, I'll see on your page.
Feed. Yeah.
But lessons learned is that's not really how friendships work.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, well, that's okay for my needs. It's not okay for other friends' needs.
Yeah.
And that's what I need to be worried about. My needs are one thing.
Yeah.
But you also need to consider,
valid.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
And my friends recognize that. It's a disrespect for me not to do it back. So that's what a big focus of mine in going forward. Just being more like, what if I striked up a conversation with this person? You know, like, whatever, right?
It's interesting because I know you and I have talked about how we both can be a little bit more vulnerable and open up a bit more, and that we were more closed off than we thought that we were.
100%.
I think we both I always operate under or at least I used to. I'm trying not to do this so much anymore. I operate under the guise of, like, if you want to know something about me, I will tell you something that you want to know about me. All you have to do is ask.
Yes.
But you do have to ask. And you can ask me, anybody can ask me anything. Like, seriously, anybody listening to this podcast right now can ask me anything that they have ever wanted to know about me right now.
Totally.
Anytime.
Totally.
Via any outlet to communicate with me on. And I would love to answer that. I love being asked questions about myself, but I never wanted to be the kind of person who offers up information that is so personal and makes people uncomfortable. Like, I don't like treating social media like a diary.
And we're not oversharers, you and I.
No, I would never want to overshare. So in trying not to do that, I just never shared anything at all.
Yes.
And something really cool that I'm finding is that the few times that I have sort of, like, gone out of my usual pattern and shared something or talked about something or done something silly and fun on social media, people that I haven't talked to in a really long time, or that I would never expect to talk to me first, respond to it and reach out.
Yeah.
I have gotten more Instagram DMs in the last, like, month than I ever have since I got Instagram in, like, 2015.
Totally.
And it's really nice. It's really nice. And, like, I was like, damn, I guess I can do this too. So whenever somebody posts something that I think is cool, I've started warming up to the idea of maybe possibly and at some point messaging them about their post and saying, like, hey, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I really, really like that you do this. Or this is really funny. Or I totally get that feeling that you're talking about in that post. Or I'm right there with you.
Right.
You know? And, like, people actually respond to it. I always assumed that no one ever wanted to hear from me.
Me too.
Or, like, cared. Or, like, you know, you put stuff up on the internet and you don't really, like, you want the likes, but you don't want, like, messages because that takes energy.
Yeah. I was definitely under the pretense for a long time that just, like, the direct message feature on Twitter and Instagram was just, like, something you never touched.
Yeah.
Because, like, why bother people?
There's also the whole thing about, like, sliding into someone's DMs.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't have a relationship with the person, like, if they're not your close personal friend, then it's kind of creepy to message, to use the DM feature, because it seems like you're after something.
Totally.
You want something from them.
Yeah.
But it really is like like I posted like my Spotify Wrapped for the year, and I joked about how Beyonce was like my top artist for the second year in a row and how I thought that was basic of me. And like someone that I talked to for an hour over Zoom through like a theater event that I attended messaged me about it, and like we joked back and forth for a little bit, and I was like, holy shit,
cool,
that
right?
was cool.
Yeah.
I can't believe she even remembered me enough, like to talk to me at all. This is nice. Yeah, no, I'm gonna do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're finally, like, a part of this issue, and this is a part of being an adult as well, in my opinion anyway, is realizing that things you thought were normal and worked for so long don't either anymore or have never actually worked.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big part, even like in regards to creative processes. One of the we have a writers group that we meet every month. And one of the notes I gave a friend of mine was don't be afraid to cut even good ideas. And like, that is something you can apply to your real life too. Because like what you perceive as a good idea might actually be detrimental in some ways. And then like some of the benefits you get from this behavior might not fully outweigh the negatives that you were not seeing.
Absolutely.
So change.
Yeah.
Try something new.
Yeah.
DM people.
Yeah.
Like when someone texts you, like just fucking respond to it. And like don't be a weirdo about it.
Don't get weirded out. Yeah, stop getting weirded out by it.
Yeah.
Stop looking at it being like, a text message. I don't what do they want? Why are they doing this?
Fuck off and shut up. God.
Yeah, God. So weird. What the heck?
You know what's a social thing that's sort of coming to light now that I actually have been struggling with? So there's a big movement, or it was anyway, about a year and a half ago, where people were talking about how it's rude that when someone tells a personal story to relate it to a personal story of yours because you're making the conversation about you. And while I certainly agree, I think that that's not a black and white issue. I think that there's value in being like, I know what you're going through because I went through this thing. Whenever I bring that up, I'm not trying to steer the conversation about the thing I'm talking about. I'm trying to relay to you that I understand. And like, this is literally how I'm trying to show support.
Yeah.
And I can't stress enough how I see where people are coming from. And I try not to do it all the time, because I definitely used to do it a lot.
Yeah.
And there's situations where it's valid in just saying like, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I understand.
Or just, I've been through that too.
I've been through that too. But for me, the reason why I would like hop into a story, especially if someone is distraught, is because I'm trying to ease your anxiety or pain, and to say that like, it's okay to feel the way you're feeling, because look at this experience that I've had that I've come out on the other side of, like you can do this too.
Yeah.
And that is something that I've been struggling with, because I definitely don't want to abandon that part of how I believe helps.
Yeah.
But I also need to acknowledge that I don't want to come off as self-centered.
Yeah.
And that is like such a fucking tightrope walk.
I see what you're saying, and I struggle with that too. But I think genuinely a lot of the time what a lot of people are looking for are just to be listened to.
100%. Yeah.
They really just want to be listened to. And like, while you intend, and I believe that you intend what you say you intend with telling people about similar experiences that you've had with their situations, some people just want to say like, I went through this and it was shitty. Don't you think it's shitty? And then they want to hear, yeah, that was shitty.
Of course. But my worry then is that kind of response is never as long or as thought out.
Yeah.
And it comes off as insincere.
I mean, I just don't think that people always want that.
Babe, I'm not trying to disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. I hope you know.
Yeah.
I get how saying like, you're right, I hear you. Like that's a good response.
Yeah.
Especially to someone who's in emotional distress. But I don't want them to think that I don't give a shit.
Don't care, yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Like, I guess for me, where it turns around and is like, ask more evocative questions.
Yes.
Like, be like, I hear you. That does suck. Like, how are you feeling? Or, what about this situation made you feel like that? Yeah. How did this person in your story react? Something
that I've started trying, which I find helps, and I hope you don't feel like I am doing the thing that you do, which is tell a story about your experiences and then take away from the person's situation.
No, never.
Is I'll think about that experience. So like someone says, somebody cut in front of me in line and called me a booger brain, and
piece of shit.
made me feel bad about myself. And then you're like, oh, I had someone cut in front of me online one time, and I remember that story. Instead of just telling that story, think about how you felt in that story, and then say, oh, I totally get how you feel. It's so demeaning, isn't it?
Right.
Because you felt demeaned in that moment.
Bring up describing words.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then that person will go, yes, thank you.
Yeah, that is both something I do, but never quite like quantified that in myself. So yeah, that's good advice in my opinion.
Because you're still like relating to them, which is what you want to do when you tell your story, is you want to show them that they're not alone and that you relate to them. And then, you know, like, you still give them the space to have the situation be about them and their feelings, because you're helping them figure out how they feel about it.
Right.
And that always that's always the thing that makes them feel better. That's why you go to other people with your problems, because you want to figure out how you feel about a certain situation so that you know how to go forward with the next step in getting over it.
Yeah.
So that's just something that I've found helps me a little bit too.
That's good advice. I also think that it's fair to say that a lot of people on Twitter who are like rallying against this kind of like advice giving are also like rallying against the kind of person who will tell a story and then now that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like that's an issue.
Yeah.
And I obviously I've fallen victim to that in my life once or twice, obviously. But yeah, I totally agree there.
Yeah.
No, if you're telling me a story and you're upset about something, the last thing I want to do in this conversation is make this about me.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I always just find keeping it about the feelings helps a lot.
And there's man, it's such a fucking complicated thing too, because you also have people who like, some people, like you said, are just want to be heard and listened to.
Yeah.
Some people want advice. But no one ever vocalizes what they want.
No.
I've learned this in our relationship, and something I've applied to my friendships as well, is straight up asking.
Do you want advice?
Saying to you right now, do you need me to hear what you're saying?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to give you some advice? Because typically those are two very different responses.
Yeah.
And like, I know that like that might be interpreted as me like not being as honest as I could be, but no, it's about what they want.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about what I want? It's about what they want.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
You know, I could be honest or whatever and tell you that you're being a fucking baby and here's what you should do.
Yeah.
But like that's insensitive in my opinion, depending on the person.
Yeah, it also doesn't work.
Yeah.
I know that I've mentioned before how like in my friendships, I have a reputation for being the bitch who, like, if you're in a shitty relationship, I will tell you that you are in a shitty relationship.
Yes.
And I will strongly encourage you to break up with the person who you are in a shitty relationship with. And I will not stop until it is very clear to you that you are in a shitty relationship and your partner ain't shit.
You make it hard.
Yeah. I make it a well-known fact, and I wear that on my sleeve. But I have lost friendships that way by being like, your boyfriend is an idiot. Why don't you see it? This is like the third time that you've come to me crying about something that he did to you. And I do mean boyfriend. I always say, I do mean boyfriend. I'm not being heteronormative. I fucking mean boyfriend.
Yes.
And girlfriend. Yeah. I'm like, this is the third time you've cried about him. 3 strikes you're out, buddy. Like, give it up. He's obviously not going to change. He's not going to, I was that bitch. And I still am that bitch to this day. But, people are going to do what people are going to do.
Well, I was just about to say.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Have you sort of come to the realization that, like, well, yes, you are right.
Yes.
Well, yes, you're, like, in your zone to say what you say.
I have a 100% accuracy rate, Cameron. I've never been wrong about a boyfriend that I have, like, rallied against.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you've also acknowledged how that can be a little tactless at times.
Okay, yeah, fine. It's tactless. It's also just like I have learned that people are going to walk the path that they're going to walk.
Yeah.
You know, like if you decide on a direction, you are going to go unapologetically in that direction. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. And once somebody has made up their mind, if someone is on the side of the path going, you're going the wrong way, you're going the wrong way, you're going the wrong way, you are just going to say, fuck you, and keep walking even farther down that path, no matter what is at the other end of it.
Because that's what you would do.
Because that's what anybody would do. I'm not even talking about someone as headstrong as I am. That is what anybody would do.
That's fair, yeah.
People are strangely very protective about their relationships. And I don't understand it because I have never been in a relationship that anybody has been against.
Well, because you know what it is, Sam? Nobody wants to be in a bum relationship. No one wants to, let me finish. No one wants to come to the realization that their relationship isn't working.
So don't be in one when I tell you that you're in one. But yes,
Sam,
you're right.
But Sam, you're also not God. You're not the judge of relationships. I love you, dear. And you have 100% correction rate. And you earn that, and you're right. Mm-hmm. You're right, Sam. Mm-hmm. You should know better than anybody else that you can't tell people what to do. Mm-hmm. So, and no one wants to come to the conclusion that they're in a shitty relationship. That's a hard thing to come to terms with. That's a big emotional hurdle to get over.
Yeah.
And that's complicated because how many times, like,
because no one wants to be wrong.
Nobody wants to be wrong. No one also wants to admit that the good times they're chasing were not worth it because of all these bad times.
Yeah.
That's a huge emotional hurdle to get over. And it's really complicated for people to come to terms with. How many people have we known in our own personal lives who have dated for way too fucking long? And you ask yourself over and over and over again, why are you dating? Why are you dating? Why are you dating? Because the night that they had that was great is something they're chasing because they don't want to admit, and they don't want to admit that a relationship is bad. They also don't want to detangle their lives if they've been dating long enough.
Yeah.
Like, Sam, okay, real talk. You ever thought about how fucking much of a pain in the ass it would be if you and I were to break up?
Oh, well, I mean, like, we've been 5 years. Yeah, it's hard to untangle 5 years of your life.
Even a year into this relationship.
I am talking about people, first of all, I'm talking about people that I knew who were in high school at the time. It's not that fucking hard to untangle your life when you're in high school.
Right.
The stakes are not that fucking high.
I'm aware of that. But
and just like relationships that just aren't as long as ours were.
But there are some people, and the people you're referring to, that dated for that long.
Yeah.
Or at least like more than 1 year.
Yeah, over a year.
So think about that. If you and I were to break up tomorrow, we have a YouTube channel that we do together.
Yeah. We have a business. We run a business.
A small business that we run together.
Yeah.
I have a key to your fucking house.
Yeah.
You have a key to my house.
Yep.
I'm friends with all of your friends.
Yep.
You're friends with all of my friends.
I have stuff here, and you have stuff at my house.
Like, it would be a logistical nightmare for you and I to break up.
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong. The reason why we're not breaking up is because I love you, and I have no interest in breaking up with you. But I'm not fronting at all, Sam. We're like 2% of the reason we'll never break up is because I don't want to deal with that. like, am I wrong for saying that? I don't want to have to go to your fucking house and see what PlayStation games are mine and see what socks I've left here. We're also in different
cities, so it's like
I'd have to make a day out of it. Go to your fucking house and here's your fucking key back and like, did I forget anything here? Which chargers are mine? You know, like, what a fucking nightmare that would be. And then you forget things, and then 3 months down the road, when you're in the healing process, you have to, hey, I found this thing of yours. Do you want it?
It's like doing a pile of dishes. It's like leaving a pile of dishes and then finally getting up to doing the pile of dishes and just owning up and being like, all right, at some point I'm gonna have to touch this wet noodle. Mm-hmm. At some fucking point I'm going to have to touch this wet noodle.
Yep.
You're right. 99.999% of the reason why I'm in this relationship is because I believe that you are my life partner and I love you so much. And, you know, I can invest my dreams in you. And I believe that I'm going to get something out of it and it will be fulfilling to my spirit intrinsically. That 0.0001% is
the logistical nightmare that would be
fucking shit.
That would be detangling our lives.
It would take so much work to break up, dude.
No, because we, honest to God, Sam,
it would be so much work.
I'd foresee us, like, honestly having to sit down and be like, what is yours? What is mine? How are we going to handle this business? Yeah. Like, are we going to keep recording? Like, that would be awkward. I imagine that in, like, not to bum everybody out, but I imagine that if you and I ever broke up, that chill spot would just sort of cease.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in the capacity that you and I do it together.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, you would have to find somebody else to do it.
And you can imagine, and then to add on to that, how fucking awkward would it be where it's like, you go into our Discord where everyone knows who you and I are.
What am I going to do? Just go away?
You're going to block us on Discord?
Just, like, stop talking one day? Just, like, let the Discord collect dust?
I'm going to hit up the general chat and be like, hey, guys, here's Brad, our new co-host. Like, That's a little fucking awkward.
Yeah.
It'd be different if you and I were purely creative partners.
Yeah.
But we're also life partners.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I'm glad I still like you. It's just easier.
Of course. It's just easier. How has editing the podcast been?
It feels really good. I feel like a bad bitch when I do it.
Right? Isn't it kind of cool?
Yeah. There was the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I tweeted about this. Like, there was like a clip where I just didn't like the tone of voice that you were taking with me. So I cut it out.
Yep.
And it felt really good.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, like, that's the best part about editing, and I think that, like, it'd be really easy to take this personally, but, like, I don't and you don't.
Yeah.
If there's something in a video that brings down the video, cut it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how you can just pick the best parts.
Well, and it's like you really do fear that it's going to look choppy or sound or sound choppy if you cut certain things out. But it's like it's really cool how easy I found it to make things smooth and sound like the conversation just like went along. You don't even know that it's not there. It's really cool. But yeah, excuse me. I think editing is a very worthwhile skill to have, especially in this day and age. Being familiar with a type of editing software.
Totally.
Both like video and audio is a really good trade skill to have, and it's invaluable. And if I do wake up tomorrow and ChillSpot has, completely self-destructed, like this is something, like this is a tangible skill that I can like take with me and just go somewhere else with it.
I've cut together fucking audition tapes and shit.
Yeah, exactly. That there's a middleman that we can just remove from the equation completely.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't have to take this to somebody and like pay them to do it.
Yes.
Like we can record self-tapes for ourselves and make a really good one. And that costs hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Like it costs hundreds of dollars.
That's a right to cost that much money.
Go to somebody with the equipment and the know-how to put a good audition tape together for you or a reel of some kind. And
I mean, it should cost money because I think you're paying for the labor.
It should cost money because it's a valuable skill. And
you're paying for the expertise.
It is a lot of effort to learn how to do it for yourself. That's why you pay somebody to do it for you because it's a lot of effort. But it's just nice to know to how to do it.
Yeah, editing is definitely one of those things like all creative processes where like at the start you're going to be bummy. You know, like there's going to be times when like you edit something and it doesn't look good. And like you say to yourself like, well, I don't know how to fix this. You know, I've run into that wall many a times where it's like I want a certain kind of edit and I try and I try and I try and I throw fucking tomatoes at the walls and nothing is landing and this joke isn't funny. And before you know it, I just hate the clip. So I just delete it. And I know that's kind of like, oh, Cameron, push through. But like there's also such a thing as cutting your losses. We have timed releases. I need to get this video out. I need to get things done. I can't just sit on this video for a month and be like, oh, but now it's perfect. It's like, no, I got to fucking upload it.
I know. And some things you just have to let go. And like on the other end of the spectrum, there are times where I'm like, it's just not worth it to make this cut. Like it's not going to work. So leave it.
Because we reference it later or,
so leave it in because it's not going to work.
I also think that there's something to be said, and like, I might be alone in this. There's something to be said about personalities on the internet where you hear something that might not be 100% positive about the way they're talking. Like, maybe you get like, and this is purely nebulous, but maybe like you get angry on Mike or like I make a fucking stupid comment or something. Like, I'm not adverse to leaving some of those things in because, well, yeah, sure, it would be great to have only positive things. That's not really how people work.
No.
You might be surprised that if you ever hang out with us that I'm not this like chummy, jokey dude constantly.
No.
Right? When you listen to the podcast and it's an hour long, yeah, we could fucking ham it up and be jokey and shit. But, outside of that, like, we're actually pretty demure people.
Yeah, pretty low-key.
Low-key people is a better way of putting it, I guess.
I mean, like, after our streams, we're like, bye, everybody. Thanks for having such a good time with us.
Yeah, enjoy the raid.
And then you go, and we're off. And we immediately sit quietly for an hour. And don't talk to each other and stare at our phones and act like we look like two people who hate each other.
Yeah.
We don't, obviously.
Oh, of course.
But, like, if you were to walk into a room after watching our stream, you would think that we don't have any chemistry at all.
We just performed for 3 hours. Yeah. Like, I'm tired.
We were just on for 3 hours straight.
Yeah,
like, leave us alone.
And we try not to dip. But like, I think that's a part of the performance aspect of Twitch, right?
Yeah.
And I love that part because it's actually it feels really good to be on, and it feels really good to hit good notes and like make funny jokes and come up with cool bits.
We still love performing.
Yeah, right. But even put it this way: if I was in a production of The Flick, which was 2.5 hours long minimum,
yeah,
in the green room, I wouldn't be chatty.
No.
After the show, hey, really?
Exhausted.
Hey, good job.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, you too. Great. Yeah. What's our call time tomorrow? 7? Okay. All right. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Like,
Yeah.
and then go home.
Yeah.
And like, I've learned that I clearly need to be more social in that aspect too. But
Yeah.
that's how I would naturally respond.
Well, after a performance, it makes sense. I thought you needed to be more social, just like at school, in between classes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's work. Are you not tired after the end of a shift?
Yeah.
Or after a day at work?
Same
full
difference.
8 hours, and you don't want to talk to anybody that you were just at work with for all of that time? No. So I'm tired. That is one of, I will say, the more difficult aspects for me about our profession is that there is an importance to sticking around afterwards.
Yeah.
I know in stand up it's a huge thing. In stand up you can have a 15-minute set, but if the show is 2 hours long,
You stick around for
you
everyone.
stay for the whole thing. And I've heard comedians say like a lot of the gigs that I've gotten, especially early in my career, were just from hanging out at the club, just like hanging around, making myself available to people, seeing what's up. And that is exhausting to me because I want to do my job and I want to go home.
See, yeah, I agree 100% because
Yeah.
I'm also of that mindset where it's like if I'm on my creative clock, you ask me to do things, I will get them for you.
Yeah.
But when I'm off the clock, I am off the clock.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
That is also not how being an artist works at all.
You have to always be networking and closing and socializing.
I honestly, God,
meeting
Sam,
new people.
have so much pent up social energy from being introverted for a full year
Yeah.
that I think I might just be an extrovert when pandemic is finally over.
At least for you, I think I have a year's worth of social batteries saved up. It will run out.
Of course, one day.
Yeah, one day.
But like I've in this whole year, like okay, I'm gonna sound like a total Debbie Downer when I say this. There are certain times when people bring up certain like social events to be like, let's go to a bar, let's go to a club, let's go do this really social loud thing that you don't want to do. I have literally responded internally like with pain when I hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it literally hurts to hear like, we want to go to a bar for a birthday, and I'm like, fucking.
Do you really? Are you sure?
But
is there nowhere else we can go that's different?
Yes.
And not that.
In recent days, people have brought up that idea and it doesn't twinge anymore.
No.
It doesn't hurt.
No.
I'll be honest with you,
yeah.
that's not something I'm going to promise is going to last forever.
No.
But it's definitely like, yeah, I could warm up to that.
But at the same time, I wonder because, okay, so we were out, we had to pick up some supplies. So we made an essential trip out. And as we were leaving the parking lot of the plaza that we were in, there were these people like walking in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
And you got so mad. Like,
I get so mad.
You, Cameron, you got so pissed so quickly.
I got mad. I didn't get like white knuckle on the steering wheel.
But like you got salty, and it's like you make the comment and you carry on, but like you kept going for like a titch too long.
Sure.
And I wonder about you and also just like other people because this is valid. Have we been away from each other for so long that we don't know how to be patient and like kind to one another anymore?
Maybe.
And is there going to be like a surge in like minor outbursts and arguments
More
and
spats. Yeah.
Like public spats, because we haven't had to tolerate the general public for so long that we're going to be very short with each other?
2,000%, yeah.
Like,
I totally agree.
I wonder about that.
Because, okay, I will say, I'm not defending myself because I did get angry. You're right.
Yeah.
That is something that I would have gotten angry about before the pandemic as well. It is such a pet peeve of mine. Mm-hmm. I am driving where I can only drive.
Yeah.
This is car space.
We were driving your dad's pickup truck too, and it's larger than the car that you normally
We
drive.
are in a car space. The road we were driving on is for cars. Mm-hmm. And you have people like walking in the middle of like, okay, so imagine there's parked cars for everyone at home. I park cars on the other side, and the lane in the middle where you drive, there's just people like walking around, mind their own fucking, like just not like, not aware at all.
Just like not registering that there's a car.
And like, I am a vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm a vehicle. You're in vehicle space.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Yeah. A parking lot is not a space to meander.
And it happened twice
Yeah.
in that one trip.
Yeah.
So you're right. I did get a little pissed off.
Yeah.
But it was something that's always pissed me off.
It's just, it hasn't happened in so long that I feel like you had all this pent up rage.
It was
about
exasperated,
the topic
yeah.
because it just hadn't happened to you in so long.
Yep.
And you just stayed madder for a little bit longer than you normally would. And I clocked it, and I was like, this is the other side. Like, we've been imagining that, like, once we're allowed back outside again, it's gonna be like V-Day, and like people are gonna be kissing each other in the streets and celebrating. Balloons are gonna fly everywhere. But I think there is going to be a relearning curve where we have to learn to tolerate each other again.
What? Are you kidding me? 2,000%. Karens are gonna be a lot worse.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
After the
White
pandemic.
women are yeah, you're right. I think it's going to be like, I thought it was going to be hypermasculine men that are going to be the worst for this, but oh my god, white women are going to be so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be they've been annoying while we were separating from each other.
Yeah, totally.
They're going to be 5,000 times more annoying when they're allowed back out into the wild again. It's going to be the worst.
Think about how much road rage is going to be once traffic is back to normal.
Because people are just going to want to get back to their lives.
Well, people have also, like, if you've been leaving your house to go to work, you've been dealing with pandemic traffic.
Yes.
Which is non-existent.
Yes.
You can get on the 401, which is a highway near us, at 6 p.m. And not get traffic.
Mm-hmm.
That is not permanent.
Even construction during lockdowns has to come to a halt.
Yeah.
Like, non-essential construction has to come to a halt. So, like, even the highways aren't seeing a lot of construction right now. So, like, when road closures start happening again, and when people start getting in each other's ways, it's gonna get rough.
It's gonna get fucked is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, people aren't gonna want to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there is going to be that population of people who are going to be like, at least we're allowed back outside again.
Yes, of course.
You know,
Let's
like,
not
I'm just grateful
pretend,
for what
yeah.
I do have, but some people are going to be like, I just want to get to the part where I get to live my life. Like, I'm sick and tired of waiting. I've been waiting for a year or, you know, like 2 years by the time everybody's vaccinated. Like, fuck, man. Just let me live my life. Mm-hmm. Let me live my life. And people aren't going to be nice.
Of course. But yeah, that is an interesting thing to talk about, the social ramifications of the pandemic.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very interested. And I'm trying to tell myself that now because I do see myself as being one of those grouches who is like impatient and hasn't had to deal with the public in a very long time and gets short with people. And I just have to like tell myself that it's not worth it.
You and I are going to go to a grocery store to get ourselves a sheet cake because you're going to have one of those days where you need one.
Yeah.
And we're going to go.
As you do.
And we're going to, of course, and we're going to be in line waiting for a sheet cake, and you have the sheet cake in your arms, and there's going to be like 9 people in this grocery line.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep doing this.
Why the fuck are you all out right now?
No, you're going to go, what's wrong? It's really the sheet cake.
I'm going to have to watch it because one of the things that I used to do when I got impatient with people was say that Dwight Schrute quote from The Office, which was, "There's too many people, we need a new plague."
Yeah.
You can't say that anymore.
That's a little dated.
You can't say that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to watch because I did say it a lot. I said it a lot, especially when I worked at the grocery store. I was like, "There's too many people. We need a new plague." It's like
new plague came and went, babe. You got what you wished for, bitch.
I did this.
Okay, well, listen, on that note, this has been a great podcast, everyone.
This has been a great podcast.
So,
I do it. Okay, perfect.
I just know. I literally went.
So I wasn't sure.
I'll do it
if I wanted to.
But I want to say, I literally went. It's been a great podcast. You went. It has been a great podcast.
Because I wasn't
you
sure.
You ended the sentence.
I wasn't
halfway through your sentence.
You're a white man. Sometimes you interrupt me and you don't let me. So I was waiting to see if you were gonna.
I want to do a Chill Spot survey and have everyone watch every video we ever made and see who interrupts who more. I would actually genuinely love to see that.
Shut up.
But listen, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Chill Spot Podcast. We upload every new episode of the Chill Spot Podcast every Tuesday at 3 p.m. either on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or Podbean. Whatever you listen to your podcast, you can find us. If you enjoyed us, well, and you're watching on YouTube, hey, watch another video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to us on a service that has a review platform, give us a review. You have no idea how much that helps. We are 57th rated in the comedy charts in the Philippines or whatever, or Thailand, I think is what it was.
I think it was Thailand.
Amazing. You have no idea how much that means to me. Thank you to all of our Thailand friends.
Thank you, Thailand. We love you.
But yeah, if you ever want to see us talk about something on the Chill Spot podcast, leave a comment. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Next week.
Next week.
Next week.
Next week.
Bye.